Bismillah, alhamdulillah, wa salatu salam wa rasulullah. We continue reading from Imam Al-Ghazali's The 99 Beautiful Names of God, Al-Maqsad Al-Asna fi Sharh Asma'illah Al-Husna, translated by David Burrell and Nazih Dahir. This is the Islamic Text Society edition of 1992. We'll go back to reading the third way. We have read a good part of it, but we did not conclude. Trying to make sense of this elaborate introduction. And I hope by the end of today's reading, we might get a sense of where Imam Al-Ghazali is going with the name, named, and naming. Where the first way was, it did include a discussion of synonyms. And the synonym ought to be the same without any difference. And the second way where we might think they are synonyms, and in Arabic it was the Sayf and the Muhannad. Both are swords, but one of them, here they said it's in translation that it is made out of Indian steel. It could be as simply as being produced in India, Muhannad from Hind. And the third one, we began reading referring to the unity of the object with a combined property. This again, with its far-fetchedness, does not obtain in the name and the named, nor in the name and the act of naming, so that it could be said that a single thing is posited in order to be called a name and a naming, as in the example of snow, where one meaning was qualified by cold and white, but not everything that is cold and white is snow. Neither is it like saying the faithful one, as-Siddiq, may God be pleased with him, is Ibn Abi Quhafa. Well, this is given, and anyone who knows the history of the companions of the Prophet would know that Abu Bakr as-Siddiq, the first caliph, is indeed Ibn Abi Quhafa, because this is to be interpreted the person who is described as faithful. And we spoke about the meaning of as-Siddiq, really. He accepted the truth. He believed in the in what the Prophet ﷺ said or did as part of whenever this is part of his prophethood, messengership, such as the journey at night, or the night journey, if you will. Who is described as faithful is the same as the one who is related to by birth to Abu Quhafa. So the expression is the same as the expression, now in inverted commas, is the same as, signifies the unity of the thing posited, while it definitely asserts that there is a difference between the two qualifications. For the meaning, of the faithful one, may God be pleased with him, Siddiq, differs from the meaning of filiality to Abu Quhafa. Neither the literal nor the metaphorical interpretations of is the same as come at all close to the relation of name or to thing named, or name with the act of naming. The essential reality of the formula x is same as y resolves this is simply 2. It is added to text to explain. The text resolves to synonymy of names, as in our saying that a lion, Laith, is a lion, Asad. Granted that there be no linguistic differences, or there no linguistic difference between the meanings of the two words, and if there be a difference between them, let another example be sought. This resolves to the unity of the essential reality with a multiplicity of names. For it is clear that our saying is the same as presupposes multiplicity in one respect and unity in another. The most authentic respect will be that of unity in meaning and multiplicity in words alone. This much should suffice to show that how little this long-winded dispute achieves. It has become clear to you that name, naming, and named are words with different meanings and intentions. So it is proper to say of one of them that it is not the second, and not that is the same as the second, because other than contrasts with same as. As for the third position, dividing the name into what is the same as the named and what differs from it, and into what is neither the same nor different, it is furthest from what is right and the most confused of all the positions, unless be interpreted as if to say the same itself, the name itself was not intended by the name which was divided into 3 types, but rather the meaning of the name and the thing indicated was intended by that division. But the meaning of the name is other than the name. The meaning of the name is the same as the thing indicated, and the thing indicated is not the indication. And this division, which has already been mentioned, deals with the meaning of the name. For it is right to say the meaning of the name might be the essence of the thing named and its essential reality and quiddity. Mahiyya. And these are, number 1, names of kinds which are not derived, as when we say man, knowledge, or white. In fact, could be whiteness, bayad, rather than it is bayad, it's whiteness. So because he does use al-abyad later on. And one should keep track of the number of mentions, because all these they should have been repeated and they are missing from the translation. Insan wa ilm wa biyad. And I'll point to the place, inshallah. So number 1, names of kinds which are not derived, as when we say man, knowledge, or white. So far as number 2, derived names are concerned, they do not indicate the essential reality of the thing named, but leave it in umbrage and only indicate an attribute of it. So there's ambiguity there. As when we say knower or writer. Knower or writer, I think rather than knower or writer, we should use scholar or writer, because knower could be originally in Arabic عارف, and it's not. It's عالم وكاتب. So I would rather use scholar. Because that's probably the intention here. Then the derived term divides into what refers to an attribute of state in the thing named, as in knowing or white. Knowing or white, here we have two issues here. كالعالم والأبيض, the scholar and the white, but already we have missed in translation إنسان وعلم وبياض. ما ليست مشتقة كقولك إنسان وعلم وبياض، وهو مشتق إلى ما يدل على وصف حال بالمسمى كالعالم والأبيض، وإلى ما يدل على إضافة له غير مفارق كالخالق والكاتب creator and writer. So we have إنسان وعلم وبياض, which was mentioned like 4 lines above. It's missing from the translation at any rate. The definition of the first kind, that is underived nouns, is every name is said in answer to the question, what is it? Pointing to a human being and saying, what is it, is not like saying, who is it? Since the answer to the first is a man, and if one were to say an animal, he would fail to mention that by which it is what it is, because man's quiddity, the mahiyya, is not constituted by animality alone. Man is a man by being a rational animal, not by being an animal alone. So rationality is what distinguishes the insan. The word man means rational animal. If instead of man one were to say white or tall or knower or writer, that would not answer the question, what is it? For by white we understand something or other with the attribute of white, without informing what that thing is. Similarly, the meaning of knower is something or another with the attribute of knowledge, while that of writer is something or another with the activity of writing. Of course, it is possible that one understands that a writer is a man from things extrinsic to the meaning of the word and evidence is external to it. Well, how about kiram katibin, about the angels? And one might raise the question, why do we use vegetative state when someone passes away We talk about the stem brain death when you keep the body functioning, whatever that means, but there is no consciousness. Wallahu alam. Allahu alam. So we use vegetative state to refer to the human being, though the animal part in a certain way is still there, but we don't use the vegetative state or the vegetation as part of the definition of the human being, in addition to the animal part. If we talk about the etymology of the word insan, though I hope it is relevant. Why not consider it a third category, independent from animal, despite the animal part being there, in as much as the vegetative is there. And typically people would say that insan is from nisyan, that insan is from forgetfulness. Maybe not. Insan from Anisa, like in the story of Sayyidina Musa alayhi salam, seeing a fire at distance is the burning bush story, because he, at that moment, inni anastu nara, anastu, that's really the root, that's the verb really, that's the verb, anastu, because he felt comfortable with whom he thought, human beings, with whom he thought they ignited the fire, and they sat either for protection, for guidance, for warmth, because it was a cold night. Because he said to his family, Sayyidina Musa alayhi salam, that he would get them a log that is a burning log, so that they could basically find some warmth. At any rate, if instead of man one were to say white or tall or knower or writer, that would not answer the question, what is it? For by white, we understand something or other with the attribute of white, without informing what that thing is. Similarly, the meaning of knower is something or another with the attribute of knowledge, while that of writer is something or another with the activity of writing. Of course, it is possible that one understands that a writer is a man. Of course, no gender issue is intended, from things extrinsic to the meaning of the word and evidence is external to it. Likewise, if one points to a color and says, what is it? The answer is that it is whiteness, were one to use a derived term and say it is radiant, or the diffusion of the light to sight, that would not be an answer. For when we say, what is it? We are looking for the reality of the essence, the quiddity, by which it is what it is, while radiant is something or other having radiance, and diffusion is something or other which has diffusion. Furthermore, this distinction concerning the referent of the names and their meanings is sound. It is possible to express it in this way, that the name may refer to the essence and may also refer to what is other than the essence. but what would be taking liberties in applying it. For our saying it refers to what is other than the essence would not be correct unless it were to be interpreted as our intending to say other than quiddity expressed in answer to the question, what is it? For knower refers to an essence which has knowledge. So it also refers to an essence. There's a difference between saying knower and saying knowledge, because knower refers to an essence having knowledge, while the word knowledge does not refer to anything but knowledge. Saying that the name might be the essence of the thing named has two shortcomings, and both need to be corrected. Either replace name with meaning of the name, or replace essence with quiddity of the essence. And then it will be said, the meaning of the name may be the reality of the essence and its quiddity, and it may be other than essential reality. As for saying that the creator is other than the thing named, two interpretations should be considered. One, if by creator the word creator is intended, the word is always other than the referent of the word. But if what is intended is that the meaning of the word is other than the thing named, that would be impossible. وأما قوله أن الخالق هو غير المسمى إن أراد به لفظ الخالق، واللفظ أبدا هو غير مدلول اللفظ، وإن أراد به أن مفهوم اللفظ غير مسمى فهو محال. An oversimplification. A child being I have a story, I guess, that I can share with you, whereby we can explain this, that the word, that which is the name itself other than the meaning, what is intended is the meaning of the word is other than the thing named. That would be impossible, since creator is a name, and the meaning of every name is the thing it names. Now, for a child, that could be the case, because you would ask a child to memorize something, or they might memorize it anyhow without having a meaning attached to it. Pretty much like a parrot, unless one believes that a parrot knows the meaning of the word. So again, if by creator the word creator is intended, the word is always other than the referent of the word. But if what is intended is that the meaning of the word is other than the thing named, that would be impossible. Since creator is a name, and the meaning of every name is the thing it names. For if the thing named were not understood from the name, it would not be its name. Creator is not a name for creation, although creation is contained within it, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is creator, is al-Khaliq in eternity. This is his attribute. Not, and here put it in brackets, not after he created. This is what probably Imam Ghazali is trying to say. بل الخالق اسم ذات من حيث يصدر عنه الخلق. Creator is not a name for creation, although creation is contained within it, nor is writer a name for writing, nor is the thing named a name for the act of naming. Rather, creator is the name of an essence, and so far as creation originates from it. What is understood from creator is the essence as well, but not the true reality of the essence. What is rather understood is the essence insofar as it has an attribute related to it. As when we say Father, the meaning of that term is not the essence of the Father, but rather the essence of the Father insofar as he is related to a son. In the story of the angels passing by Sayyidina Ibrahim alayhi salam and Sarah, they were on their way to the people of Lot to punish them for sexual deviation. But in the meanwhile, when they, of course, Sayyidina Ibrahim salam offered them food, really a roasted calf, عجل حنيد, that's basically roasted, عجل سمين, that's a fat calf, but they would not touch it, of course. They appeared in anthropomorphic form, but their nature did not change. In the Old Testament, they do eat. But the issue here is that they also brought good omen to this, to Abraham and Sarah, that Sarah will carry a child whose name is Isaac, and then that good omen came in double, because it said وَمِنْ وَرَاءِ إسحاق يعقوب. So practically on the heel of Ishaq, Isaac is Jacob. This is here it says the father insofar as he is related to a son. The fact that the revelation that the Quran and that good omen brought the good news in doubled, that this family will have a grandchild whose name is Yaqub alayhi salam. Well, entailed somewhere in the wording, the fatherhood of Ishaq alayhi salam. وَمِنْ وَرَاءِ إسحاق يعقوب. And the implication is very important, because here we have Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guaranteeing that there will be a child whose name is Isaac, Ishaq alayhi salam, at an old age for both Sayyidina Ibrahim alayhi salam and for Sarah alayhi salam, very old age. This might not be a problem for the man, but definitely a serious issue for the woman. So it's miraculous. And that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guaranteed that Ishaq alayhi salam will become of age, an adult, who will get married, and who will have a child whose name is Jacob, Yaqub alayhi salam. Still, there is more. It means also that the child to be offered by Sayyidina Ibrahim alayhi salam, Dhabih, it's impossible that it was Ishaq alayhi salam, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guaranteed that he will get old enough to get married and have a child of his own. We don't have the same about Ismail alayhi salam. So you can now guess where I was heading with this. وَمِن وَرَاءِ إِسْحَاقَ يَعْقُوبَ. So we do have this notion of fatherhood, not in the name in itself, but from the context and the other the other pieces of information are derived analytically from that very short text. I think inshallah it's enough for this session. We'll continue tomorrow بإذن الله عز وجل. Until then, سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.